It's time to harvest my potatoes. These are potatoes I planted, I don't know, 2 or 3 months ago. And these are potatoes that had been in my kitchen and they were from last summer. So these are just ones we didn't eat last summer. I threw them in here to see if they would sprout again. They had a whole bunch of little sprouts on them, and as you can see, they've been growing. So I've got some dead leaves, and we're going to pull this out and see how many of the potatoes reproduced into more potatoes. So we're just gonna start digging. One of the cool things about potatoes is you really don't know what is on the inside until you pull them up. And I've got a few little small ones right here, so those aren't very big at all. And I really don't know what to expect. Usually I buy seed potatoes and I plant seed potatoes, but this year I just decided to replant some of my old ones. And so far, we might not be getting many. I really don't know. There's a bunch of little ones. Maybe I'm pulling them out too early this year. But as you can see, these are actually all really tiny. So I'll come through and pull them up. They might be Yukon Gold, or they might be Georgia Red. So that's what I planted last summer. And then I didn't keep them separate, and I just had them in my kitchen, and they were starting to produce, growth on them. So I brought them outside to replant. So they're definitely not very big, but to be fair, I didn't even add any fertilizer to this. I just threw them in to see what would happen. So there might be more in here once I pull them out. So as you can see, that's the potato that I had last year, and there's some new ones growing on it. So planting them in a grow bag usually works really well for me. But this year I didn't put a lot of effort into it. So there's the rotten potato from last summer. But I've actually got a bunch of little ones. So here's a bigger plant. Here we go. Here's 2. So that's pretty cool. I like those. Those are nice. Another small one. We're just gonna keep pulling these out and see what we get. There's another decent sized one. There's another decent sized one. I don't know if I would have left them in much longer, if they would have grown to be much bigger. But we'll just pull all the plants. So it looks like every plant created at least one potato. So for all the potatoes that I had rotting away in my kitchen, let's see if anything will pop up. There we go. There's another one. This is gonna be a pretty quick, easy little video. Oh, there we go. There's another one. So we've already got more. There we go. Looks like most of these are Yukon Gold. That might be, or maybe I also did russet last summer. I don't actually remember. The Georgia ones were sweet potatoes, and I did not plant any sweet potatoes this year. I only planted 1 bag of these potatoes because they were the extra ones from last year. Oh, there's another one. So the fun thing about this is it really is going to be about a surprise when you open it up. So there's a rotten one from last year. And then I could probably even keep some of these and plant them again next year. But like I said, I didn't add really any fertilizer. I just kind of threw them in this extra grow bag that I had and planted them in here. So I've got about a plate full of potatoes so far. Maybe that's about all I'm gonna get this year from these. So a bowl of mashed potatoes, that's probably about it. But I like a good bowl of Yukon Gold mashed potatoes, so I can't really complain. So here's our bag, or our plate of potatoes that we were able to get this year. Look pretty good. Obviously, it was not a lot. So this is what happens when you take your potatoes from the year before, throw them in a bag, put very minimal effort, and just let them grow. This is what you're gonna get. But free potatoes, so I can't complain. See you next time.